tell me if you can relate to this. So I'm going through completing cycles in multiple things. Okay. It ranges from judgment, compassion, all the way down to relationships, things that have to do with self-love and desire. Okay. So I've been faced with a lot of decisions lately, and these decisions are, do I stay or do I go? Do I wait or do I move forward? Do I, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's a lot of, what do I do? Okay. Now, I myself know, because of the previous cycles that I've went through with judgment, compassion, self-love, desire, and relationships, that they all are intertwined. Like, if I'm learning a lesson in relationships, in any relationship, doesn't have to be romantic, but in any relationship, it is also bringing me back to my levels of compassion, my levels of desire, different things that have to do with judgment and motives and all of that. But anyhow, so I've been feeling like something is major, is getting ready to change. However, what I didn't realize is I've had this feeling over and over and over again. Okay. It's usually several times a year. I'll have this big feeling like something's getting ready to change. I can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is, but I know that's going to be major. And I never really realized that when I have those moments, and it may not be every single time that this is what it means, but when I have those moments, this is when I am at the end of finishing a cycle. Okay, a cycle that has to do with being compassionate, being non-judgmental, having unconditional love for others, my desires, anything that has to do with relationships, which goes back to self-love, because self-love is the very most important cycle that I should be completing and moving into a new cycle with. Because each cycle that we complete, it's like we say, okay, we finished that one lesson, but there's always another lesson to learn that takes you up higher and higher and higher. Okay. We just keep ascending through these lessons. The lessons are never really over. Okay. We may feel like they don't really exist because we're pretty peaceful, or, we're pretty happy, or what have you. But the point is, like, they keep coming back over and over and over again. And when you're at the end of one of those cycles, that's when you feel that feeling of uneasiness, like, am I making the right decision? You question every little thing that you do that has to do with anything that you're learning lessons in at that time. So I've been learning a lot that has to do with self-love, compassion for others, and not judging myself or others or the situation. Okay. I've went through this cycle multiple times. Every single relationship that I've gotten into, it's became easier and easier and easier. I don't do as many of the things that I used to do. But now it's like I'm at this point where it's about me. It has nothing to do with the trauma that people have caused me. I've healed that stuff. It has nothing to do with forgiveness. It's all about self-love. What I think about myself, how I judge myself, how compassionate I am with myself, what my desires are, what my motives are, things that have to do with things of that sort. Okay, so one of the things that I realized today was that I say this over and over and over again in my videos. You have to be bad at something before you're good. You're good at something before you're great. And before you're great, before you can be a master, you have to be great. And I feel like I really just messed this video up, but I am not about to restart it. Anyhow, you're bad before you're good. You're good before you're great. You're great before you're a master. Okay. And I was told, like, write down all these things. Okay. I wrote down the lessons, the cycles that I keep going through, and the lessons that I've been learning. And it's compassion, judgment, self-love. That should have been at the top of the list. Desire, and relationships, which also goes back to self-love. Okay, so anyhow. And then they're like, well, rate yourself on these. And I was like, compassion, good. Judgment, I'm good. Self-love, I'm good. Desire, good. Okay. And I feel like what they meant by desire was like, the lessons that I've learned in manifesting what I desire, because that manifesting what I desire always goes back to self-love as well, because I've had a lot of lessons in, am I good enough? Do I deserve this? Do I deserve that? Blah, 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 blah. So actually this desire is probably real close to being great. Anyhow, relationships, I put good as well. And I was like, okay, I'm at good at all of them. There's something to this. So I'm in this process of being great in all of these areas. Okay. The cycles that I'm going through, I've been feeling a lot of anxiety. I've been asking myself, am I making the right decisions? And, there's some pretty major decisions that I need to make, especially when it comes to love life. There's one particular person that I've been waiting on for quite some time. I absolutely adore him. I have loved him for a very, very, very long time. However, he's not at the same place in his life where I am. So do I continue to wait, or do I continue to move on? And I know that the answer is, if this person can't give equally to a connection with me, then I need to move on. Okay. I've got other, prospects, let's just say. I don't even know if that's the right word, because I'm not seeking anybody at all. I want one particular person, and that's where I feel like the universe is bringing this person to me, and I'm learning a lot of these lessons through this connection. However, I also realize, like, I desire to have equal give and take, and that's a really big thing for me. And if I'm not getting that, then I need to move on. I don't want to keep wasting time. Okay. And it's not that it's wasted time, because I'm learning a lot of things. But at the same time, this judgment and compassion, these decisions that I have to make, I have to really be careful with these judgment and compassion, because am I judging this person because they're not where I'm at? And this compassion is, compassion for that person and what they're going through with their awakening. But at the same time, like, am I being compassionate with myself? Because, I desire a certain thing, and I've desired it for a long, long time, for as long as I can remember. How long am I going to keep allowing myself to just desire something when it's right in front of my face? I have multiple options in front of me. I just haven't been open to that love because of the one particular person I've been waiting on. So do you see what I'm saying with this whole, the shifting of cycles? But anyhow, I'm in this process of just a few decisions away of being great in all of these categories. Okay. I have a goal to be a master in all of these categories. Okay. And I'm right on the brink of being great in all these things, but I'm a couple decisions away. So my question was, do you guys get to this place where you kind of it's fight, flight, or freeze? Certain areas of my life I'm going to freeze, because I'm afraid if I make the wrong decision, then I'm going to fuck everything up and have to start that cycle over again. But guys, the cycle lasts as long as it takes for you to learn that lesson. So you got to be mindful of that as well. But anyhow, point is, guys, make you a list. What cycles have you been going through, and repeat for the majority of your life? There may be subcategories underneath these things or what have you, but what is your cycles? Write them down. And then, are you bad? Are you good? Are you great? Or are you a master in those things? Do this self-evaluation and find out where you're at, because I guarantee where you're at is not where you want to be. So next thing is to ask Spirit, how do I get to the next phase of this? How do I get to being great in all these things? I just keep trucking. I don't give up. I don't freeze like I want to and like I have in the past. That's one of those subcategories under all of these other categories. I want to just freeze in that and, not make a decision when I know that if I want to grow in self-love, a pretty major decision is going to have to be made. And I'm just going to have to trust that the universe is going to bring me what I desire. That can be an MFer. You guys know how that is when you're in the waiting period and you don't know if you've made the right decision and you move forward anyway. 411, guys, look that up on Sacred Scribes. Anyhow, hope that you guys have a wonderful evening. Love you. Bye.